This is the very first mural that I did in like 1983 or something like that. And this is my friend Mike Human and I, and we made this together, and that's me. And he was an airbrush artist, and I knew how to paint scale from painting on subway trains. And we just figured it out. And as it happens, Run DMC's management company was across the street from the studio where we painted this. And so they came by and they could not believe the scale of this thing. I want to have a section about fatherhood because you talk about your son so much and he seems to be in everything that you do. And so I have all these photographs of Eric when he was a kid. And, you know, he would come to the office and hang out after school. He would dress up for Halloween as the artist that we knew. And, you know, that's my guy. Like, this is all of us back in the day. Me and my friend Adam Horowitz doing Ebony and Ivory karaoke style. The first time I was on a plane, we came to Daytona Beach, Florida. It was MTV Spring Break. And Adidas gave us a whole box of gear and clothes and things. And we didn't think anything about wearing the same outfits. And, it was just wild. This was a poster that our gallery made. And it says, we made our mark on society. Now we're making it in society. And, the gallery, printed these things up. And they gave us, like, maybe like a couple each. And this is already, 40 years old. And recently, I got everybody to sign it. And I'm the only person that has one of these that is signed by everybody. And, Pink and I signed it in 2014. I got Crash and Tracy to sign it in 2017. Days is 2018, and I think Freedom was the last one. Tracy just passed away, and now I realize it means even more that I thought enough to do that, because, it happens. So at that point, this is the 80s. This is still like the early 80s, but this is like 1986. And I meet the folks at Def Jam, and they give me an opportunity to start designing album covers.
How many album covers do you think you've done? Have you ever bothered to count it up?
No, a lot. But you also have to remember that some of these were scanned from CDs, and then we just bumped up the resolution. But what's really wonderful for me is, like, you take an artist like Redman. This is his first album, second, third, fourth. And then I just stopped after that because he kept making them. But I was like, this was my sweet spot. I had a team of people within a couple of years. And then all of a sudden, the label just took off like a rocket ship. And I had to, just sort of keep up and just learn how to do everything. And everybody was young. Everybody was untrained. And it was just one of those things where we learned by trial by fire. This is just design based on what works nice in a grid format. We could have went up higher, we could have went longer that way, and I said, I think this is comfortable enough. I came up with this idea to try to do a live mural installation because I really wanted there to be some sort of connection to that time period. So in Boston, I made a mural. We didn't do one in Texas, but I wanted to bring it back. And so I came here a couple of weeks ago and I made this one. And so these I made with Gary Lichtenstein. And, I just had this idea. I wanted to do an homage to Andy Warhol. And so that's what that was. And I know he always did the double Coke bottles. And so it was a direct homage to that time period. The first time people saw that, they got the connection because they understood that I was using my art as a way of treating his art as a logo. And it was so much fun, and it just turned out so beautiful. And these things are pulled out of books, and it's just there to tie back into that time period. And I make sure his name is exposed whenever possible. I'm not trying to pretend that it's my work, but it is a tribute because they're so beautiful, and there's always somebody who doesn't know who he is. And it's interesting to have three of these pieces there, and his work is represented in all three. Like with this, it's like, this is the Kennedy assassination, but I took that part off because I didn't want to upset anybody, but I wanted all the elements to be there. If you read it, you can do it all. They raise children, they have to take the family out to dinner, sometimes, they have to, get picked up from the principal's office because, she's got a black eye and she's excited because chances are she probably won that fight.
Did the collage come from when you were working with textiles, and is it a throwback to that?
No, it was born out of working with children. So about, I don't know, 10, maybe 12 years ago, I was, teaching. So, let's get, a bunch of magazines, because they don't cost anything. They're always laying around, and get, 50 glue sticks, and we'd just tear them up. And I would just make a line gesture and just, gluing them down. Because I would just make a gesture. And I say, okay, now you do it. And they make a gesture. And each person fills in their little area, and it just worked. And when I saw it, in this massive scale, it was just a light bulb moment. And then I just took it from there. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna just do my own thing. And it just worked. Really, I just focus on tone. And I just have a pile of things on the floor, on the table, and I'm just sort of grabbing, and I'm going from left to right. And I just think about one line at a time. Pieces are just about what I was saying over there. I'm just focusing on tone and texture and figuring out, can I tell a story with a minimal amount of material? Is a project that I did with this company in New Zealand, and she makes these high-end wool rugs. And she says, I want you to tell your life story in 6 pieces. And so we made 6 of these. And I told the story of, the beginning of my career, the present day. And so this is the beginning. I'm born and raised in Harlem, so I had the first 3 letters in the word Harlem. My dad was in the military, and so all of these colors represent Army colors. And we used to live right off 125th Street, and so I thought, okay, there's not enough room for 125, so I'll just focus on the 2. And that's why all of these colors are tied together. This is what I used to do to earn money in high schools. I used to paint denim jackets. And the folks at Levi's looked at this, and they were like, we want that for our collection. I was like, I haven't seen that thing since then. I think my brother might have taken it, and that was the end of that.